Got a few minutes before we're going to start it up here. Hey, thank you everybody for checking it out. Uh, Welcome to episode one. This is the first one I'm trying here. This is an experiment. You guys are all invited to witness how good it's going to be or how not. I think it's going to be great. Today we got a cool guest, an old friend of mine, Jerry Toland, is going to be joining me here in a few minutes. But I just wanted to take a minute and give you a rundown of what I'm doing here. I had a brainwave a couple of days ago, literally a couple of days ago, and approached a couple of friends of mine who were in the industry and said, "What do you think of this?" And there was a few people that were like, "Yeah, man, that is awesome. Do it." And so I started reaching out, and in that reach out, I realized that it's a small world. It's a really small community. We're all drummers or musicians of any kind. Many of us you're going to see in the next couple of episodes are not only players, but people that are instrumental in the music industry, either builders, uh, free thinkers, and of course drummers. There's going to be a lot of drummers, and some of them are going to be totally on your radar, probably in your CD rack if you still do CDs or LPs. I mean, come on. We're not young here. I'm not going to pretend about it. Uh, it's just going to be fun. The whole idea of this, I want it to be free. I want it to be open. And I want to talk about everything. Not just about paradiddles, not just about, well, I find the spring tension on my pedal has got to be just so, or I can't do the gig. And really, that stuff happens. We don't need to talk about it. Today, I want to keep it light. We're going to start with my pal, Jerry, and I'm going to try to bring him in here into this conversation. I just got to figure out exactly how. We kind of troubleshot it earlier. Let's see here. Here he comes. Hopefully this works. We were having trouble because he was on a regular computer versus a cell phone. I think the software only works with cell phone, and by the looks of it, we're having that same glitch there. Jerry, if you want to pop out and then pop back in just on your cell phone, kill the computer, and it'll probably work. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about things that make me really excited. The next little while, I've got a bunch of clinic dates that I'm working on with Mapex, bringing out the single drum theory to a couple places that I haven't played before. So that's cool. Looks like Jerry's back on here. So I'll tell you more about that once I get this all set up here. It's a one-man operation, you know. Let's see if this works. I think it's working. I think it's working. All right. It says adding.
Hey,
There he is. Look at that.
look at that, eh?
Look at that. Did you wear pants?
I debated not wearing pants, just just for
Yeah.
my good buddy Crystal Blanc, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I thought about it too, and I decided not to.
You
So we're
decided
gonna
not to
start
wear
off with
pants.
that.
So
You're only gonna see me from this high because my pants are lower than here, or my non-pants are lower than here.
nice.
So I'll try to keep it clean that way.
So am I
And
sideways, Jeff?
obviously we got to. What's that?
Am I
You're on
sideways
an
on the
angle.
video?
Yeah, you're sideways.
Hold
What's
on,
going on there? There we go.
Here, let's do this. Now
I thought you were laying
now
down.
I have to readjust. It's how's that? Will that work?
You don't look casual enough.
Well, I'm drinking beer.
Okay, that's all right. I'm trying something new today.
What is it?
It's the strawberry Perrier. Strawberry Perrier.
Water's what they turn beer into.
Yeah, but I figured I needed to be, I need to be focused for this because there's a lot of tech involved with the maintenance of this show. It's high quality.
Totally.
And, people are expecting, all these people, these 12 people are expecting a good quality show here. And we don't want to, compromise it with any kind of, loosey-goosey action like that.
This is, eh?
Yeah.
Well,
So what have you been up to? You've been playing around Alberta a lot.
Yeah, man.
Since you were like, I don't know, 10.
Well, I wish I started that young, but I've been playing around, Alberta and most of Canada and somewhat in the States for, I guess you could say, I've been playing drums now for about 20 years in total. So,
Right on.
but yeah, the majority of it, I've been running my own bands. A couple did really well. My band Kicks In that I'm currently with, we've been together for probably 11 years now, and it's insane. Even though that the gigging is sort of declining in a lot of situations, we seem to, we know how to sell beer and we get gigs.
That's the ticket, right? If you can sell beer, I mean, people think it's a bad thing to sell beer, but really, as a musician, and basically we're sales guys for beer.
Yeah, man.
And when it comes down to it at this level, where we're in bars and stuff like that, it's all about selling beer. Like as you're moving past that into bigger stuff, you're selling more beer.
Yeah, of course.
It's the same thing, just a little bit more.
Just on a larger scale. I mean, there's no difference between, I find the club gigs and the scene that I guess you and I would have grown up in, there was still a scene. Right?
Yeah.
When I started playing, we still could play 4, 5, 6 nights a week in so many live venues.
Yeah.
I mean, you're lucky if you get it back to anymore. For any money at that, right? So,
or even like one night, as they used to call it, a one night stand. Now it's just called a gig.
Now it's just a gig, yeah. And and we're all fighting for them. We're all coveting them. I mean, I feel fortunate that I run and I book my own band and I own a PA and do sound.
Yeah.
I learned early that I wasn't. I was gonna command my own destiny, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Not just, I hate to say just as a drummer. Drums were obviously my first passion, but then, I fell in love with mixing sound. I fell in love with talking to people and selling what we were, right? I enjoy selling beer, so to say, Um, and every type of gig that we come across has a totally different aspect to it. So I mean, for me, drums is maybe the third thing I'm thinking about when I'm at a gig. You know.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's the professional side of it when you're thinking about everything other than what you're actually doing.
yeah, I mean, a lot of guys make jokes is that they're thinking of they're doing their taxes while they're playing drums, right? Like
Yeah.
and it's true. We get to that point, especially in like maybe a cover band situation where
Yeah.
the tunes, you understand that people want to hear the chorus and dance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not
Well,
necessarily.
my favorite was going to see bands, and you can see it wasn't my favorite actually. It really kind of bummed me out. But the whole you could tell the guitar players, played the same chord like a million times. He
Yeah,
just doesn't care. There's almost like a poker face you got to adopt. The biggest distraction I find is the TVs in these bars when
100%.
you're playing and the hockey game's on, and if you're a hockey fan. Well, I'm not a hockey fan at all. I'm not any kind of sport fan. I don't know. I'm a little weird that way, a really horrible Canadian. But even with it on, it's distracting because you end up following that, and then it's potential for disaster.
100%. Hey man, it's not even just the screens in a bar. Now everybody's got a screen.
Yeah.
Everybody's attention span at a live gig now is like minimal, right? And it's funny. People would rather live, they'll live stream a gig while they're at it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Watching their phone, watching the gig, and it's amazing.
I see that a lot on my production gig stuff because I do production work for Live Nation. I do running and production assistance, and I can't tell you how many times you're sitting here watching. I'll go to this one spot, which is usually stage right near monitor land or where the guitar tuners are, usually the tech land, and I'll sit there and I'll like kind of lean against the wall, lean against the rail, and watch the crowd as they're watching. And 9 times out of 10, in the first 5 seconds of watching, I will see one of 3 things. I will either see somebody take out their phone and take a picture or a video, take a selfie, not like a selfie like a normal human person does it. They'll go like this. Okay, ready? They'll go like this. And then the phone's up here, and they're trying to get like Keith Urban or whoever, like in there. And the whole time I feel for whoever's on stage going, you guys look like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that that's okay.
It is.
And the other thing they're doing is taking a picture with their friends.
Right.
Or of their friends, which I mean is great. I mean, you're capturing the moment. It's exciting. You paid probably a lot of money to be there.
Of course.
But you're not really there.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's the thing. It's and in today's world, you weren't really there unless you took the selfie of being there. Right.
That's the thing now. It didn't happen if you didn't put it on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
In the internet.
Hey, we got 16 people. We got half a room right now, Like,
this is probably busier than my last show. And, I think some of these, I know some of these people might have even maybe been there. Oh, maybe not. We got Steve Klotz in the house.
Hey, yeah.
Steve Klotz? You can see that picture of him right there. He's wearing a hat just like mine. He's stealing my style, that guy.
Well,
What a guy.
That's funny. There's a lot of people on here that I definitely know,
Yeah.
Hey, Gavin.
Well, it's all about community.
And Ted and Gavin are on right now.
Oh, yeah.
We got a couple drummers. So
yeah.
Or Randy Bishop.
Tom Netzel's on. I know that guy plays drums.
Yeah.
That guy's a sharp dressing man right there. He always shows up in like blazer jackets.
Hey, Weston Blatz is on too.
Yeah.
Well,
look
Weston,
at that.
I don't know do you know Weston?
I don't know if I know Weston.
Weston's one of the...
I'm going to make one assumption. He plays country.
He plays country. You know what? He plays country.
You can't not play country with a name like Weston. Come on.
Exactly. Weston needs to eat a steak, but he is an amazing up and comer. I mean, he's definitely a good personal friend of mine, and seeing him come along, he's taking the country world by storm, man.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He's a singer, right?
No, drummer.
He's a drummer.
He's a drummer.
Oh yeah.
So he's like a freelancer, and he plays with Julian Austin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, fantastic kid. So love him to death.
Julian Austin. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Well,
he's still kicking around.
Yeah, Julian's actually he's out in Airdrie now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he moved out here a couple of years ago, and now he's riding Harleys and doing gigs and doing what Julian does, right?
That's cool.
Yeah,
living the life.
Yeah,
living the Southern Alberta life.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that he's come back to Alberta, right? It's where he kind of got started, and then took off and did his thing, and I mean, Alberta's always been good to Julian and the boys. So,
well, yeah, in general, country music always goes off a lot better here than it would, say, in other places.
Yeah, 100%.
Except for maybe Nashville, but even then, that could be debatable.
I mean, hence the reason why I went to country. I think I met you in about 2000, maybe 99.
Yeah, I was working at Axe.
Were you?
Yeah.
When did you start at Axe?
No, I started in 2001 at Axe.
So then that's when I would have first met you, because I started playing drums in, 99, I was 20. So I started playing drums in 2001. Yeah. So, like really playing drums, right? So, I watched, of course, my Uncle Theo's band for years and years. And obviously my granddad, Ted's band, I watched them for, who knows how long before I was even able to get in bars. But I mean,
legally getting into bars.
Yeah, legally getting into bars, exactly. So, I mean, there's quite a few bars in town that my uncle used to get me in and bring me in as their carrying cases to go set the band up, right? So.
You're driving us home tonight.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I wasn't capable of doing much of anything. After, I think vodka slime was my drink of choice.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. It wasn't nice. So
I remember vodka slimes at the Republic. They were messy.
Yeah.
We'd have a $1 drink night there, and it was just like, here's $20. See you in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you didn't need another $20 worth of dollar drinks ever.
Even though we could all get drunk on $25 back in the day, right? Like, no problem.
Well, $10. The rest was just wasted.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I was a Northeast kid, so I grew up, like the Fox Northeast. I don't know if you'd ever been to that.
Yeah.
That was our hang for sure. And then obviously the Fox downtown and Three Cheers and Coconut Joe's and all these spots on the what I guess would be the ending days of Electric Avenue.
Electric Ave, yeah. So there was no rock scene that they used to have, I guess, in the 80s. Apparently, that one place it's a gym now, Heavens, I think it's called.
Right.
That used to be the bar. That was the rock bar that had like bands, I think, on different levels. There was different bands.
No way. Wow.
And it was like, we're talking like the hair metal, spandex rock. The only person I could see on here that would know that for sure is Steve Klotz, because I'm pretty sure he was around playing back then.
Oh yeah.
In those kind of bands. Yeah. I'm trying to track down some video proof, it wasn't so readily available back then in the 80s.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that
there's
was
definitely
brand
pictures
promo.
of Steve Klotz wearing spandex, and I've seen them. I just have to find them again, and then I'm going to be rich.
Well, if you look at Brian's band back in the 80s too, right?
Yeah,
I mean, those guys had the best hair, and they probably played all those clubs. I'm sure they did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's
You're the one thing that always stuck out at the shop for me, um, especially when dealing with your family in particular, is I think you guys were the only family that was like a multi-generational drum situation.
yeah,
And I always really, it always really hit me really hard that it was like so awesome
yeah.
because you don't see that. For one, you don't see that very often, and you don't see it in at all now. I don't think. I don't know. I don't work in the shop anymore. I mean, I go down to the shops all the time. I'm always in Long McQuaid's,
Yeah.
the various ones, but I don't. I'm not interacting the same way, so I don't know if there's a multi-generational family. Really,
I know.
back then, I'm pretty sure you were the only one.
Yeah.
Your family was.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely like I come from I'm a third generation of my family, essentially, to play drums. I
Yeah.
I didn't want to play drums. I mean, it was like I said, hence why I didn't start till my 20s.
Yeah.
I watched, believe it or not, with Ted Senior, my grandfather, him and I were mortal enemies until I matured. But
And then you realized how cool he was.
100%. I mean, my dad played drums, and my dad's brother Mark played drums, and he had like a 50-piece drum set, and I think now he's got a 90-piece drum set. But beautiful drums. He bought them all at Axe, by the way. But I mean,
well, thank you.
A little plug there. I mean, but once I started coming into age, I followed obviously young Ted Theo. I grew up with him. He's 6 years older than me. He's probably about your age.
Right.
And
I'm 44 now. That's fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah. I just turned 40 this year, so I just put the 40 on, and
it's all right. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm 44 and you're turning 40, I've already paved the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I made it cool to be old and play drums in the bars where the cool kids are. So we're all right. You got it made now.
As a young kid, I played, well, not a young kid, but in my early 20s, I joined a rock band, and it was fun, like it was all beer and chicks and whatever, right? Like the scene was what it was. And, I would watch my uncle's band, and I watched my grandpa's band, and I watched so many of these other guys that were playing out around town. And you know what? I saw drummers with beer bellies and nice trucks and hot girlfriends. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong genre, man. Like, and they always have wicked gear, right? So I went to country. Like, not that it was my first preference, but I knew in Alberta, and I knew, having Theo, my uncle, and having my grandfather Ted, I knew that if I chose to pursue it, I'd have all the help in the world.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right.
They give you the leg up, tell you what bars to play at, probably even help you get gigs, right?
Mean, these guys
introduce you to the right people.
Yeah, they encouraged me to do it, and I watched my uncle be on the road and sort of struggle as I don't want to say musician, fantastic musician. My uncle Theo is, amazing drummer. But I mean, he was out there, and he was grinding, and he was trying to make it, right? So he was living out of a suitcase, and breakups and all of these things that happen with it. I was really unsure about taking on the lifestyle, right?
Yeah. So that is a big challenge, That is a huge challenge.
It's a huge challenge.
I've lost lots of relationships to playing music, and not even really to playing music, just to bad decisions, or not being the typical, like, you got to do X, Y, and Z to be considered a success.
Sure. Yeah.
And unless you're playing the Saddle Dome, there's this pressure that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
That no matter, oh, you're a musician.
Right.
that means you're basically a delinquent.
Sure, yeah.
And it sucks that it's like that, but and I mean it's changed a bit. I mean I don't approach it. It doesn't affect me the way it used to. Like it used to really bother me when people would be like, "Oh, you're a musician. So what do you when are you going to grow
Yeah.
up?"
What's your real job?
That saying has always been my biggest pet peeve. When are you going to grow up?
Yeah.
Like who has the right to say that to anybody ever?
Agreed. I
I'm
mean,
never going to grow up. Come on.
I mean, and that's, true story, man. You look at, there's so many cool cats in Calgary and all over the place that, guys in their 60s and 70s that are way more spry than, the guy that's been sitting at the desk. So.
Oh yeah. They don't look anywhere near their age.
No. And
they don't act anywhere near their age,
The stories, I mean, a lot of musicians are young at heart. We're all dreamers, and we're, it's why we do it, right? We all, no matter how long you've played, we still all have that, we all get that high from whatever stage we're on, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, point being, like, there's so many guys that, have other skills outside of the music and especially in more recent years, we've had to, change our approach on how, to get a gig, or change your approach on, the whole music scene. I mean, let's face it. I played for almost.
Yeah, I think like a businessman.
Yeah. I mean, I played. I played almost full time for 15 years, running my own stuff, right? And I'm still running my own stuff, but I got kids now. Who wants to go on the road for, the money that's out there? Not that, and I appreciate the money that people are still paying money for live music, but let's face it, there's been no inflation on live music ever.
No, yeah, it's the same as it was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, literally, my grandfather used to tell me, he scale back whenever it was $75 a night, and and his rent was $199 a month. So if you're making almost $100 a night, you got a pimp car, you're eating out every night, you're playing 6 nights a week. Right, they had it made.
You're on high ground.
Yeah. So in fact, with inflation and all these other things that have went on over the years, we're getting way less than they were getting then.
So that's a depressing thought.
It is. It is. I mean, but you go out, you grind it to get the gigs, and you do. Yeah. Everybody plays for what they play for. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, we would all play for free.
Yeah, because it's a passion. I mean, it's nice to get paid, but yeah, when it comes down to it, getting paid is kind of like it's a justification for it, but only in that kind of way that you feel like you got to get something for doing this, because it is a lot of work. But at the same time, you would still do it for free.
Yeah.
So they always say that do a job that you would do for free, because then you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
And all we're doing is just constantly trying to do that.
Yeah, exactly. To keep it going. I mean, the amount of time and effort and hustle and thought that goes into booking a gig or just playing in general, whether you have your own band, whether you freelance, it's a lot of time. And these young guys now that have to freelance, they don't have 4, 5, and 6 nights to work out a song with the band, right? These guys actually have to go learn a song, practice a song by themselves, and show up and play it perfectly on stage. I mean,
do up their notes and have their charts.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing. I mean, we would say, hey, learn these 10 songs, show up on Monday or Tuesday night. We'll work them out to the dead crowd, right? And see which ones go over. And and
then by Friday, Saturday, you're on.
Friday and Saturday, we were a band, right? And it was that's the way it worked. And it's tough now. For me to go out and freelance. I don't chart. I don't read notation. I don't read national number system or anything for that matter. So now, really having to internalize these songs. I got to play for an artist and learn 40 songs of their set.
Yeah. Especially if it's like an original artist and they've got like a peppering of like covers, and then they've got like 4 or 5 that you absolutely have to get right because they're on the record.
100%. And
yeah,
I'm sure you know it. How many times how many times have you learned a song for an artist and then not played the song?
Yeah, that is one of my biggest pet peeves. If a set gets cut short for whatever reason, and you already put time in to learn that song, and 9 times out of 10, it's the song you actually want to play. That's always how it goes. Oh, it's the one that nobody here likes, but it's interesting on drums. You're gonna cut it.
I mean, I always, no matter what artist I play with, I always want to. Hey, Danny. Hey, Tom. Hey, Ken. There's a bunch of guys coming in. Sammy Taylor. When I love playing original music. When I'm asked to learn original songs, I expect to play them. As when I'm freelancing. But so often, being both a drummer, bit of a songwriter, I've played with my own original band. I've also played with my own cover bands for a lot of years. I also realized that, when an artist is playing, say, a club gig and promoting their cover or their originals, it really takes a certain artist to be able to see that, hey, you know what, maybe that original it's not the right time to play the original right now. Right?
Yeah. So having the maturity to know that.
Yeah. I mean, so a lot of times they get pulled from the set list, and it's a pet peeve on our end because we're like, man, I learned that song. I put 2
But it does, you got to play to the room, right?
Yeah.
Because like we said at the beginning, we're selling beer. Yeah,
exactly.
That song you wrote about your ex-girlfriend when you were 17 that nobody knows or cares about is not going to get them on the dance floor versus that, brown-eyed girl.
Exactly. And
it's a hard fact.
Brown-eyed girl, but at the end of the day, brown-eyed girl pays the bills every time.
Yeah,
hands down. Sweet Home Alabama, Brown-Eyed Girl, Mustang Sally, whatever you want to. We all have those songs. Those songs pay our bills, right? So, hey,
Sweet Home Alabama.
You see what Mr. Sammy Taylor wrote down there? That guy.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response. Thanks, Sam. I love you too.
Oh, Greg Collins is here too. Hey, oh man, look at this.
Nice.
Everybody's in the bottom of the list here.
But yeah, and you know what? I scrolled up and then I realized all these other people were on below it.
That might be the gutter side of the role here.
Yeah. I spent quite a few years watching Sam. Sam was he's a cool cat, and being a singing drummer as well, right? He always had an appeal to me. He was obviously friends with Ted, so Ted would take me to go watch Sammy, and we'd go to like the TNC or the Crossroads and watch him, and he and that's a guy, he can read music really well as well.
And that's a big tool, reading music is a big tool. 100%. My vision isn't great, and my following stuff isn't great, so I can't do sight reading, but I could feel the shit out of a song. Yeah. And if I could play it once or twice, there's certain things that are going to be like cues for me to, okay, there's where the chorus is, there's the changes, and past that, if it's a well-written song, it's going to be pretty readable, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's the ticket.
You being a vocalist myself, that's how I chart a song, right? Basically, I don't learn the drums to a song. And like I said, when I'm in a gig, maybe playing drums is maybe the third thing on my list of thought. I'm trying to remember the words to the damn song, right? Hoping that it goes over well, and hoping the rest of the guys in the band play it, right? So I play it right, because as a drummer, trying to pull a verse in key without the right change is difficult.
Yeah, I bet. I don't sing and play because I can't sing, first of all.
I'm
And
sure you
I
can,
tried
buddy.
singing and playing once, and that shit is hard. Like what is your trick? Like what's your trick?
My trick.
What's your trick on how to when working on a song where you're going to sing and play? What's your trick that you use
Well,
to kind of get you there?
being that I have my own band, the trick I use is I usually make another guy in the band learn the song.
Right.
So, and then we play that song live for a good amount of time so that the drums to that song are second nature for me. And then,
Right. Yeah.
so that's how I always started. Then, being the drum, not having to think about the drums or the structure of the song, then I was able to really start taking over the songs.
Right.
So now,
Yeah.
I've been doing it so long that I'm not a great singer by any means. I do it all out of necessity.
Yeah.
It's poor Neil in our band fronted our band for a couple of years with no other singers in our band, and actually I started singing. Ted had got laryngitis, and they were playing 2 weeks back to back at the Cecil, and my grandfather asked me if I could fill in for him.
Yeah.
And so I sat down on the drums, and he's got big binders, 600 songs in these binders. They're just thick, big letters. And then my grandma would, type all up for Ted. And so I sat down and on the drums, I guess it's about 10 years ago now. I've been singing for just over 10 years. And I opened the binder and said, well, I guess I'm going to start singing tonight. So, and I sang 2 weeks back to back at the Cecil out of my grandpa's binders and just sang all his old songs. And, it was fantastic. I mean, it's, and the fact that happened and he helped me do it, the fact, it has made, I guess, my band better for one. And then I get more calls because of it.
Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, because you're bringing more to the table.
Yeah.
That they don't have to hire a guy that's just singing or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
or
there's
a guitar player that sings, the bass player that sings.
Really, at the end of the day, there's only really a couple reasons why people hire me, because I don't get hired as a drummer necessarily just for my drumming skills.
Right.
The first reason usually people will hire me is
fashion sense.
Hey, there you go. Yeah.
That's the first reason. Come on.
I got a hipster beard and all that stuff. But really, I get calls because I'm, I have a PA system, right? So it's like, hey, well, maybe I'll get Jerry and then he can mix sound and we can get a good deal on a drummer and a PA, right?
I'm going to get a PA this week.
Hey, ever since I got a PA, I have never not worked. So
yeah.
Second reason for me is they need an extra singer, right?
Yeah.
So if I can sing half the night, potentially, I take a large burden off the singer. I talk a lot on the microphone, so essentially I'm a front guy, right? And I'm not a very good front guy, but I do it, right? From the drums. And what else? A lot of guys will hire me because they need a guy that can fake it, right? I can fake 1 million songs. So I do that.
Well, that's I don't think people understand the legitimacy of that because you say fake it, but I don't think fake it is the right word.
No.
I think navigate is probably a better word because it doesn't sound like you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Because you do know what you're doing,
of course,
fully, in order to even kind of entertain the thought of getting behind and going and quote unquote faking a song. I don't think the word faking is right. Absolutely not. I think it's navigating. You're able to navigate.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm the kind of guy that can, if I know a song and I don't know the next song, I can play a song and listen to the next song in my headphones and learn the next song as I'm playing a song, right? it's just
See,
gotten,
that's a whole other level. That's a whole other
it's
level.
just gotten
I
to
don't know
that
how you're
point,
doing that
right?
one.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
That's yeah.
it
I can't do that.
and just listening to music and going to jams and trying to
Yeah.
have big ears. I mean, there's you know, I'm not I know what my strengths are as a drummer, and to me it's not always being a drummer, right? I
No,
like to
I think that's with anybody who's going to be successful. And yeah, again, the word successful, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean $1 million. It means you're getting the gigs, and
yeah.
it means you're getting hired again, and you're playing the songs that are filling the dance floor and selling the beer.
Sure. I mean, and
You know,
you got to be a half decent.
that's the job. The people that are doing that are, I think, uh, extremely valuable because they're able to think outside of the box in order to do all of those things as well as play.
Yeah.
Because really, when it comes down to it, like I said before, it's a business, and you got to diversify. And if you can't diversify, and yeah, you can play 1,000,000 notes on a kit, and you're like spinning the sticks and like holy shit in it.
Yeah.
New word, holy shit in it. I'm gonna
hashtag
that.
Yeah.
Holy shit in it. It's not going to fill a room. It's not going to pay the bills. It's not going to fill the dance floor. And it's going to empty the dance floor.
100%.
For one thing, for sure. You're not serving the song, which is filling the dance floor.
Yeah.
So it's tied in. It's a maturity thing, I think, what it comes down to.
Yeah, 100%.
Realizing your job is this, and if you're able to put all aside the ego and the man, I can do a 25-minute solo. We're going to do a half-hour set. And I'm going to start with a 25-minute solo. We're going to play one song, and then we're going to get paid $1 million, and I'm going to get signed tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, just
that said no person after the fact ever.
Agreed. Agreed.
You know?
And I mean, and we all know that, you know, there's guys that can do things, you know, there's guys in Calgary that are just mind-blowing. I mean,
mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But there's I noticed here Gavin's here.
Yeah. I mean,
Gavin is the only guy that I've ever seen that could do 1,000,000 notes in a song, in a Johnny Cash song, and somehow it still works because the whole time my jaw is down here.
Yeah.
I'm going, what that was crazy, but somehow it works. And I know he's still in here somewhere. So we'll probably do it from him.
And you know, Gavin's doing his thing, right? He's got his Chop House videos that he's doing now, and
and they're grey. They're super informative.
They're fantastic.
They're way beyond my. I go the other direction as far as simplicity goes.
I thought so too, and then I actually sat down and watched. You know, I've watched every one that has come out. But, you know, his counting is impeccable, and he's able to explain these permutations so well. I mean, I'm not a teacher at all. I know what I'm doing when I play drums, even though I don't read music, you know, I can still tell you, if you said, hey, what did you do there? I could tell you what I did. Right?
Yeah.
Where
exactly.
You know, I took from my grandpa. My grandfather was a fantastic jazz drummer / country drummer / rock drummer, but he was not a teacher. Right? I'd say, what'd you do there? I don't know what I did there. You know, thanks, Gramps. You know,
I can totally hear him when you say that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's like, what account is it under, Ted? I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. But, you know, you know, he had 1,000,000 licks, and it used to drive me crazy because I would literally have to, you know, I started volunteering to record my grandparents' band so that I could have a piece of them, obviously after Ted passed and whatnot, and they retired. But, you know, I go back and I listen to these pieces of music with him playing, and I go, like, wow, you know, and I'm transposing these licks that he would do and go, like, I didn't understand how they would even fit in old country, for that matter, right?
because he's playing from the heart, shooting from the hip.
Yeah, you know, like he was. It's you know, he reminds me of Bernard Purdy in a sense. There's sort of that eccentric, but everything that's laid down is just like thick, you know, thick groove
and purposeful.
Yeah. So it's you know, I don't feel I have that as a drummer. I don't feel like when I sit on a drum set and just play a groove, you know, by myself. Sure, I can play it, but some guys just have that, you know, that ballsy pocket.
Yeah.
That
but I think a lot of that comes with age, you know.
so you're
I really do.
I'm gonna get a ballsy pocket.
I think the way I play, like just straight 4/4, like just pocket 4/4, is so much richer than it was when I was 20.
Yeah.
So that, I think that might be, you know, just how it is, because then you're realizing you're feeling things a little differently. It's affecting you differently. It's bringing back sometimes emotion and memory of, you know, playing that one little groove or whatever, or that you realize how deep you can make the pocket.
Yeah, I can definitely.
And, you know, I think it's a maturity thing in age, you know, more than anything. I love watching old drummers, man.
100%.
That is one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
there was a drummer at NAMM that I ran into. It was this old guy playing at the DW booth, and I didn't recognize him because I hadn't seen a picture of him in a million years. But it was Jim Chapin.
Oh wow!
And he was just kind of like, you know, kind of just throwing the sticks, barely, you know, doing anything.
Yeah.
And he was having a conversation with me, and the whole time I was just like, what are you doing? Like this, what is that? What, like, I couldn't even, like, I was mesmerized by his playing. But again, like I hadn't seen a picture of him in a million years, and his pass was turned a certain way so you couldn't see his name.
Oh, right.
But for those people that are here that are drummers, know who Jim Chapin is, Muller Grip and all of that. And Dom Familero bringing him out and really pushing his technique, you know. Legend.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's so many guys as far as, you know, there's a certain caliber of guys that are beyond our scene. But I mean, we've got guys in Calgary and our local scene that are right there. I mean, those opportunities that maybe some of those guys have is not given based on just skill. You know, it's just given that they live in New York or they live in LA or they, you know, I mean, guys like Gavin and Anjay and Jason Brinkworth.
Oh, Anjay, that's a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
I love that man.
Yeah.
Anjay is like my favorite drummer in Calgary. No offense, Jerry, I love you. You know that. But Anjay, every conversation with that man is like, it's like he reaches into your soul, and even if it's like, how are you today?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's, I can't even put my finger on how to describe it other than it's like, it's intense and beautiful.
I get it. I feel that from him as well. And, you know, we talk about guys that have been playing, you know, a good amount of time. Anjay gets it. And, you know, the reason why he's hired for studio and the reason why he's hired for, you know, tours and the reason why he's hired for all these things is because, one, he's a fantastic hang, right?
Yeah.
He's a good, you know, he's the kind of guy you would want to room with. You want to go for dinner with the guy, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
And that's
totally, you know,
there's a list of so many guys in Calgary and in Alberta and whatnot that are like that. And I think it seems to be very much a drummer trait. You know, guys that are not coming up, I shouldn't say, like Ben Bradley, right? Ben is, he's beautiful, but he's also, you know, such a gem, right? The guy can play. He's a monster player, but you can sit down and have a beer and talk about family and
absolutely,
you know, any drummer that's out here, in our drum community here in Calgary, they're all like that, I find.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's crazy how deep our talent pool is. It boggles my mind. Like, you know, every guy that's out here is an inspiration in some way or another. The fact that they've been playing as long as they have, you know, let's face it, Alberta, we've been lucky, and we've had a prosperous music scene for a long time, and we've developed an amazing amount of players in our town. And you know, I'm not just country, but you know, we've been babied in the country scene. You know, we've made good money in Alberta for a long time. And why do you think a lot of these guys never left? Right? Yeah. It's not that they couldn't. It's that they were getting paid. And why go to Nashville and play for tips when you're guaranteed $250 or $500 a night for a rodeo or whatever we're getting, you know, for the major country scene. And hence why I never left. You know, I milked it. I'm still milking it, right? I'm still doing the rodeos. I'm still doing the corporate, just because.
And Stampede's coming, so I'm sure that'll pick up.
Cowboy Christmas, you know, redneck girl pays the bills, right? So I'll play it all day, every day, if it means I can go out and play drums, hang out with my friends. You know, there's so much more to it than paradiddles, triplets, and rudiments, right? Fully. Yeah. So I mean, and I love all of that, and I dove into that early in my career, but then also early in my career, I realized for me, none of it mattered. For me, it was what I did off the stage, interacting with people, sitting down, having a beer with the person. You know, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, nobody knows the drummer's name.
Yeah. Right. That's true.
And
especially if it's a fill-in drummer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not that it just takes a certain type of person that wants to go out and talk to people, truly care about them coming to your gig, making them feel like, you know, it's their party. We're just there to
facilitate.
We're just there to make it happen for them. So I don't take my drumming, I take it seriously, obviously. I've made a career of it. But I don't take it to the point of, you know, I'm not a studio guy, right? If I was, well, there's things I would put in place to do that, right? My motivation would change, and I would practice certain things to make me better at that. But I've always loved the live scene. I've always loved the flow of music. I've always loved the oopses, right? When you have not a train wreck. There's, you know, train wreck is one thing. An oops is fun, right? And an oops, you can interact with the crowd and make everybody chuckle. But a train wreck is not something we like to do. And
no,
you know, I train wrecked one time. I was playing at the Ranchman's, and it's not that it wasn't my fault, but the beater slipped out of the kick pedal.
Oh yeah, so that's kind of an ender.
I'm playing, I have no kick drum. So it's Stampede at the Ranchman's, and guess who's behind me? Anjay. So Anjay's behind me, watching me play drums from the back, and he lays on the floor with the kick beater and plays the rest of the song for me on the kick beater while I just played hands. And I'll never forget it. It was just like the coolest thing. He's just laying there tickling my thigh, you know, playing triplets on the bass drum.
And he's loving it the whole time.
It was fantastic. I mean, I've been waiting for an opportunity like that to happen to somebody so that I can do that. I need to, you know, like when's it going to happen for me? Because, it's, and it just shows
The tickle in the thigh part or the saving the show?
well, the tickle. I'm not, yeah. That's funny. But, I mean, it just goes, there's so many fantastic players out here.
Oh yeah, there is.
It's, we haven't even touched on, I mean, what time is it? 8:21. We haven't touched on gear. We haven't touched on any of these things because we're just chatting.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Gear doesn't really matter.
No,
I mean, it matters. Don't get me wrong.
Hey, you got
Thank you,
gear.
Thank you, Remo. Thank you, Vader.
Yes.
But in this forum right here, between these two lines here, this is real. This is why I'm trying to do this, is because I don't want to feel like a commercial for the products that I play for. I'm very grateful for all those companies and the love they give me, absolutely, and absolutely give them a shout out all the time.
Yeah.
But in here, this is about the connection, this is about the community, and this is about trying to find a way to kind of bring it up again, like make it a little bit more, remind people that we're very lucky to be doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have the friendships like what I have with you and what I have with a lot of these people here.
Yeah.
Dan Barton, and Todd as well at the bottom there.
Hey, Todd.
There's a lot, and there's tons up above too.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's what it's about. And it's the connection, the human connection. That's what this is about. Gear is secondary at this moment.
Yeah. I mean, and
that's all.
That human, like what you're doing and what, it's a great idea. And I mean, also just bringing the identity to the drummer. Like I said, there's so many bands that you just don't know the drummer's name, right?
Yeah.
And you should, because, most of the time, these guys in these bands, guys in, I can't even mention so many guys. There's Bruce Wallers and Neil Gorey and Sean Watts and Mike Machine who's out in Vancouver now, and Brian Symbolic. Yeah. There's just so many guys that they've been doing it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think they get enough credit.
No.
So
that's true. Yeah, they don't. They don't get it. They don't get it at all.
Yeah. And I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, the singer and the picker are the front guys. But there's, this supporting cast that we have. A lot of these guys I mentioned don't just play drums. A guy like Sean Watts is a fantastic sound man. Bruce Waller, fantastic sound man.
Diversifying, right? Because it is a situation where you have to be a jack of all trades. You have to be able to play the drums, but you also have to be able to do the PA system and get it all ready. 100%. You have to be able to promote. Promote is a big thing too. I think that's the biggest one, promoting yourself and the way that you're getting people out and pushing your show. There's a guy on here right now, my buddy Justin Ross from Dallas, Texas. I did a couple shows with him up here, and I follow him all the time online, and that guy promotes like crazy. Like he's one of those full-time players. I got hired to do a run of shows up here, and we did, 4 or 5 shows back to back, and it was like 3 hours worth of music, and we had one rehearsal that was about 3 hours and 20 minutes, and then went and did and in the 3 hours and 20 minutes, we didn't do all the songs, right? Because it's only 3 hours and 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. You can't really do all the songs and get them all up to speed, as you know. Yeah. There's a lot of these people would know that's not possible. So you got to kind of ghost in the rest, and as you were saying, faking it, or rather, what was the word I used on it? Just manifesting how it's going to go. Right. Is kind of key, but promotion is huge. I think that's such a big thing, is being able to set yourself out from the crowd and be able to create a vibe that makes everybody want to be involved. Yeah. Well, look at how many, podcasts there are and lessons now, and, Drumeo is so huge now. There are, drummers are really starting to expand. I mean,
every style imaginable is at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You know, every lick, it's amazing. And I know you've backed up and teched for, you know, the Chris McHughes for Keith Urban, and Ben Caesar with Brad Paisley, and like all these, like, these are country guys. These are guys that, you know, I love, but
Yeah.
you know, they if you watch them and follow them personally, they promote themselves like nobody's business. Rich Redmond, you know, he's just all over the place.
My favorite right now is Kevin Murphy. Have you watched Kevin Murphy stuff?
Yes.
I laugh every day at Kevin Murphy because he does either like a rant about, you know, how he's sick and tired of like these guys that are trying to be like voodoo drum teachers, you know, give me your money, I'll make you famous. And that kind of vibe that's going on in Nashville, which apparently is like the plague down there right now. And, you know, having lots to say with nothing really backing it, and no experience really playing shows, let alone playing at the level that they're trying to portray.
Yeah.
That guy cracks me up daily. And he's another one of those guys that has so many like tips and tricks. Like he's got a bass pedal one that I should show you, where you throw the another snare head beside. You have a snare head beside you, and you set up two pedals so that one is right beside each other.
Right.
So when your main pedal goes, you got a second pedal.
No.
And if it's the head that goes, you throw a drum head in between the pedal and the drum head, and it just sits there. It sounds like garbage, but it gets you through however many songs you need to get through in that gig. And on the pro level side of things, where you have a 20-minute block of music,
right,
and you're opening up for, well, in this situation, he's opening up for Dierks Bentley across the States, did the whole Canadian run up here with John Party.
Oh, fantastic.
And yeah, you only have a half hour, so you can't be dicking around replacing a kick drum head in a 20-minute set after the second song blew out your kick drum head.
Oh, wow.
So all these little tips.
But who blows out their kick drum? I don't think I've ever blown out a kick drum.
Kevin would blow out a kick drum.
Yeah. Hey, Bruce Mullers is there. Hey, Bruce. How's it going, brother? He just logged on. I mean, I've had the same, you know, this is, some guys might make fun of me for this. I've literally, on my EPEC kit, I have not changed my kick head since I've owned it. I have a coated Power Stroke 3 on it. I have not changed it since I got it made.
This entire room is judging you right now.
100%. I change all my top heads and my rezos every once in a while, but I have never changed that kick head.
And what is it? Power Stroke 3?
Power Stroke 3, like old power, like it's 2000. Like
original Power Stroke 3, the original Power Stroke 3 from like 20 years ago. Almost.
2004 is when I when I got that head. So, and it's been on my kit the whole time. So, but
is Ed still making drums? Ed Peck, is he still making drums?
Yeah, Ed's still making drums. It's funny. I had my drums for almost 10 years, so I designed my drums with Ed, and he built them, and I still play them. You know, they're still my go-tos. I love them. And then literally it took me 10 years to get a snare drum. So, and I'm playing a little 12.
He's slow, but his stuff is good. Yeah. It's good. It's really, it's like back when I was doing a lot of custom orders through Axe. That was one of the companies that I was like, you know what? This is like the Canadian version of Orange County.
Sure, yeah.
When Orange County was really big, the only thing that I could see out there that was kind of floating around was that. Because, I mean, Canwood, Fred Pepper's company wasn't really around anymore.
Yeah.
And it was a different vibe. Like the Fred Pepper's company was more like old, like a classic, like 70s, 80s.
That's what
kind of vibe to it.
Right.
Whereas Ed's had that new kind of like hip kind of swank.
Yeah, it was super contemporary. My first actual real drum set Ted Sr. gave to me, so I had his Canwood kit. right? Which was my first drum set, essentially, right? Like
You
it's
still
like
have it?
I still have it. Yeah, that's my.
Oh man.
I keep it here. It sounds amazing. I took out, and you probably remember the kit. What sold me on the EPEC drums is I took out that Ronald McDonald kit that was at Mother's. And you probably
With the yellow and blue and all that,
it's
and
a
like
monstrosity.
it looked like a Lego. It looked like a
literally
Lego
did.
drum set.
But I took it out to a gig, and I fell in love with it. It sounded fantastic,
Yeah.
and I modeled my kit after it. So
Yeah.
everything
Like,
except
go
the
with
color.
Lego colors.
So I have an old band promo of me playing that yellow kit back when I used to wear a cowboy hat when I would play, and it's yeah, it wasn't pretty, but I mean it was fantastic. Ed makes great stuff, and I still love what he does. It's I mean there's just so much out there now though, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to be unique at the time. I was playing in my band. We were Joe Hick, and we were making it. We were doing our thing, and it was an opportunity to promote a Canadian company. I was working at Mother's in the daytime, right? So it was just I had my in both ways, and the kit has served me well, and it's an heirloom piece. I'll keep it forever.
Oh yeah, it's a piece of Canadian drum history.
Yeah, it's got my name in it so it's one of those things that
So if anybody steals it, they're screwed because they're not going to know that.
Exactly, because I have chicken scratch signature, so they're just going to think it's some crazy signature series. But fortunately, knock on wood, I've never had a piece of gear taken.
I did recently.
Did you really?
Yeah. I was storing some stuff at a jam space with multiple bands, and the guy who was running the space was cool, but you never know who's in and out sometimes. And then I had a ride and a China go missing, and here's a crazy karma story actually for you. Okay, so the ride goes missing. It's a Neil Peart 22-inch rod. Whoever has it, you're burning in hell. I know you're out there. But here's the best karma, okay? So my guitar player has family down in Lethbridge, Ryan Glover. And he went down to Lethbridge, and his brother-in-law, I guess, brought out this symbol. He goes, "Look what I found in the alley, man. I'm going to turn this into a sculpture. It's a symbol." And he goes, "What kind of symbol is that?" And he was reading it. 22-inch Paragon ride.
No way.
In the alley. In Lethbridge. It still has a tag from Long and McQuaid on it.
No way.
And I played it for a while, and it has a little tiny, just a hairline crack.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a feeling that was maybe why I was in the alley. So I've been trying to make it work. Yeah. Just because I don't want to turn around and dump $500 on a ride.
I get it.
But that's pretty interesting karma. I mean, when he told me, I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me! Like, when the hell does this ever happen?"
Yeah. What are the chances?
Let alone, and not only just a ride, just the same ride, and it's not a super popular ride. Like, it's pretty popular, but it's not that's the only ride you could buy.
It's not typical.
It's not the only ride in the world.
Yeah, guys that have that ride covet that ride too.
Oh yeah, it's a great ride.
I lost a whole set of cymbals 2 years ago at Stampede. So
at Stampede, I don't even know. I don't even know how that happens. Well, no, I can see how that would happen. I mean, what bar was it at?
So, we were playing on the grounds. So we were playing a place called the Station, and it was all backlined. And what had happened is I had packed up my cymbals and taken off, took the rest of my stuff, and then I had to walk across the grounds again for a second load. And they shut down the joint, right? And they wouldn't let me in to go get my stuff off the stage. So apparently I'm not going to mention the name of the production company, but they ended up with 2 bags of cymbals. So I acquired, and I was playing Soul Tone. So I mean, a lot of them had my name on them.
Yeah.
I had acquired a bunch from a gentleman in Calgary named Terry Morton. So I don't know if you know Terry, but so Terry was with Soul Tone for a while. So when Terry decided he was no longer going to use them, I acquired all of his. So I had 3 sets of cymbals. So all the cymbals that are no longer in my possession either had my name or his name on them, because we were the only country guys playing Soul Tone. And yeah, unfortunately, I lost a whole set. I called the production company for like forever. And I know
naturally, because I mean it's your livelihood.
Yeah, you know, and they never turned up, and they haven't turned on. I haven't seen them on any online, you know, no Kijiji or anything like that, right? So
yeah, I watch for my ride and my China all the time. And the China is interesting. You know Vance Alexander?
I sure do.
Okay, freelance Vance. I needed a China, and freelance Vance is like, I got a China for you. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. How much is it? He's like, I'll give you $50. I'm like, perfect. I'll take it.
Oh, you took it?
It was a AA China, okay, that it had been played probably for like, I don't know, a million years. Dude, I was going through Chinas like crazy. I was breaking Chinas if I breathe on it, broke it. Like so fast. I had that China for 12 years. It wasn't broken when it got stolen.
No way.
It's I don't know what it you know, it was no longer the same shape.
Sure.
Like it had these spots where like almost flat.
Right.
But every time you hit it, there it was. And there was no bullshit.
Yeah.
It was just you know? But yeah, I lost it. But I got it from Freelance Vance. I think I'm the only one who called Vance Freelance Vance. That's an old joke in the back of the shop.
That's funny. Vance is a good guy. Actually, Vance also has an EPEC kit. So
yeah, he does.
You know,
yeah, he's got one of the orange. Has he got the orange Vista Light looking one?
Yeah, and he had the little shallow bass drum one.
Yeah,
Vance, fantastic. Another singing drummer that. He actually can sing. The guy can sing Prince, man.
Yeah, he can sing Prince and then play a cajon.
Yeah.
A bunch of other shit in front of him.
Yeah.
And he's the only person I've ever seen play a cajon and not look like
an idiot.
It didn't look right.
Yeah. No, I know. I agree. Yeah, I sing Johnny Cash, man. Like it's not that hard to sing. Right. But
it takes soul and it takes, you can't fake it.
But the stuff Vance sings, it kills you. He sells it. He's so funny. He's a cat, man. I enjoy it. Have
you ever seen him call bingo?
You know what's funny is I used to call bingo too. So, and yes, I have seen Vance call bingo. So I call
Under
bingo
the B. Number 5.
Mine was always 69. 69.
669.
With a little snicker, right? So
yeah, exactly.
It's funny when you call bingo, they have these other side games called balls, and all these ball games have funny names. So I would often, as calling bingo, and I'm sure Vance had done this as well, is the ball game would come out, so it'd be slippery balls on the floor. Watch out for the slippery balls. Slippery balls worth $350, or fireman balls worth $350. And every time you said it, you got this group of bingo biddies, right, that are loving you hear you say balls. So I've never said balls so many times in my life. So the only person I know that says balls more than me is Chris LeBlanc. Sorry, I had to get it in there. I love the guy.
You gotta get one good throat punch.
Yeah, Chris and I.
How are we doing at the time? I think we're probably pretty close. Oh,
Yeah,
we're
brother.
10 minutes over. Oh my
Holy
Lord.
cow.
Still have 9 people in here.
Time's flying.
My
man.
wonderful girlfriend's in here too.
Has she?
Yeah.
Mine's out on
I think
work
she
party.
thumbs up.
Well,
Right on. Well, maybe we should wrap this up.
yeah, man.
I mean, this is a blast. I'm really glad you were able to come and do this, man. This is great.
Yeah, actually, I kind of sat up all night thinking about it. So
I had complete faith because as far as vibe goes and people that I enjoy talking to, you're definitely on top of the list. There's and to make me comfortable with this too. Thank you, because this was the first one. There's going to be a lot more, and I've got some big stuff in the works right now that I'm pretty excited about.
I can't wait, man.
And again, I don't want to, you gotta keep it close to your chest.
You told me a couple things, and I mean, it's like, can't wait to.
Well, just like bringing, like I said at the beginning here, reaching out to a couple friends that are established in the drum industry. Well, I can tell you one right off the top here. Right before we started this, I got this message from an endorsee fellow endorsee of 2 of the brands. Actually, I think he's with all 3 that I play with. He plays with Mapex, Vader, and Remo, and that's Sean Fuller.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to get Sean Fuller on here. And for those of you who know Sean Fuller, he's the drummer from Florida Georgia Line. So who knows? Maybe eventually I will have a studio. Right now it's my rehearsal spot in the corner.
It's all good, brother.
But I just gave the farm away on that one. I mean, this is my professional studio that I've been working on. It's a beautiful backdrop. So nice.
I love it.
So nice. Isn't it?
It's great.
I tell you, me and the girlfriend moved into this place, and before that, I didn't have a jam space, and I had like an external jam space where I had to, get in the car, and drive, and I was always sold on the idea of leaving the house to go play music.
Right.
And it was a big thing, and it always was like a kind of a problem where I was like, I want to go play music, but I don't want to leave the house. And I never really had a spot that I could really turn into a good space until now, and it's been amazing. I'm playing, multiple hours a day, and believe it or not, my awesome girlfriend is absolutely not sick of it at all.
And then you got the best of both worlds.
Could I ask for any other big thing? I mean, that's something we should have talked about today. Like, we did talk about it for a second about how relationships kind of get injured in as a musician. Relationships get injured, but the tricks to finding the right one and holding on is kind of the question.
Yeah,
that's, a lot of people have trouble with it.
I'm sure that will go on. I've been fortunate. My wife has stuck by me like my whole career.
Oh,
like
I've seen the things that you've done.
Yeah,
son.
And she's laughing at you the whole time. That's the weird part. She gets it, and we've done well with it, and she supports me with music. Her thing is absolutely do it at the best level that you want to do it at, right? And I've never had an ultimatum to stop playing, and and there've been, I've done a lot of years making up, because there were times where I was chasing it, and she was definitely on the back burner at points, right? And
but I think that making the time in between time, in between the stage time, I think making points of like going on dates, hanging out, watching TV, doing that kind of thing, I think is a big ticket to that. Yeah, to making that work. I've been in full-time dad mode for the last
8 years, 9 years now, right? It's just, that's what I do. I get a kick. I coach basketball. Like, I get a kick so much out of my kids now. Not to say drumming doesn't still light my fire, but we do that because we want it all the time. We want that feeling all the time, right? And now I'm getting that same feeling out of my kids. So essentially I can, drums take up this much time and then my kids take up a bunch more time because I'm getting that feeling from what they're doing, right? And seeing them.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
totally. When my daughter gets on my kid every once in a while, she lives with her mom. But when she's over and she'll tap around on the drums, there's not a more emotional feeling.
Yeah.
Seeing your child play something that you love as much as anything, and the two things doing together, the same thing, that it doesn't get better than that.
I agree.
That's one of those things. I mean, I'm sure Ted was probably feeling the same way. Like, I mean, watching you grow up and play drums and seeing you become the drummer that you are. And dude, I know for a fact that was probably super, super awesome for him.
Yeah.
So
for me as well. I mean, every gig I play now, it's, I play for him. I play for, essentially maybe not the legacy of my family, but, they're the reason why I play. And, I love that I can play homage to it. Hey, my uncle just signed on right at the end. Hey, Mark. He's got like a 90.
After all that talking about him, all those horrible stories you said about him, and he finally logged on.
Yes, he finally logged on. I really appreciate you having me, Jeff.
Hey, man, thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. I mean, thanks for having a seat in your house and joining me here, man. This is great. And thanks to everybody, the 7 people that are left right now. I'm sure we're going to have tons more that are viewing it after the fact. And again, I'm going to start doing a lot more of these, and we're looking at bigger and better and stronger and faster and slower too, everything.
Yeah.
So, and everything from, like I said at the beginning, builders, players, people that are behind the mixing board. I've even talking to a couple engineer friends that do big records and stuff. All of them are like excited about this idea because nobody really talks about the real shit.
Yeah, man.
Everybody's afraid to talk about the real shit. They'll talk about the gear till blue in the face. And yeah, I can talk about the gear till I'm blue in the face too. That's one of my favorite things.
Yep.
But this is something that needs to be addressed, and building a community and reminding everybody that we're all in this together, and we're all, maybe on different paths, but our paths are all crossing in different ways, either being influenced or influencing, and being able to talk about it without any ego or bullshit is so refreshing.
100%. I love it, man. I'll be following and tuning in.
100% sound like Ben Bradley. 100%.
100%. Ben Bradley needs to give us a blue steel. So, all right, Jeff. Thanks, brother.
Awesome, man. Thanks for joining. See you soon.
We'll see you again.
I'm going to wrap this up now.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.